It's Donna here, and hey to all you kit clubbers out there, this is our August video kit club. I cannot believe summer is almost over. Anyways, it's gonna be awesome. We created this beautiful card for you with a 3D butterfly exclusive to this August video kit club. So all of our video kit members are going to be receiving this amazing pack of 12 different butterflies in beautiful colors and different sizes. So you are going to love those. And then this month's video kit clubbers, you're going to be receiving 4 embossing powders, 2 super thick, 1 cosmic, and another cosmic. So 2 cosmics, 2 super thicks. And then you're also going to be receiving a jar of the Bronze Mica Flakes. Really, really fun. These beautiful digital pre-colored, pre-cut pears from this awesome sketched pear stamp set by Sparkle and Sprinkle, designed by Beverly Cole. So this will also be coming in this month's video kit club. And I'm going to be showing you a ton of embossing tips, tricks, and techniques. So I hope you enjoy this August video kit club and have a fantastic rest of your summer. Bye-bye. All right, I am so excited to show you all of these awesome tricks, tips, and techniques on this month's awesome pear card. So exciting. All right, so to get started, we are gonna set this aside. Right there, move some of our super amazing butterflies over. And we are going to take our saying cardstock here, and this is 2.5 by 1 3/4. And I'm gonna get started by taking a piece of scrap paper. So I'm just using this so my actual mat here doesn't get all gooey while I'm filming. But you can do that right on your craft mat, which is nice. You don't have to worry about any issues. That's what a craft mat's for. All right, so I've got an embossing ink over this, so you can use your clear mark, you can use your VersaMark, you want to use a clear embossing ink. And then I'm gonna take Caramel, which comes in your video kit club this month, and you get 4 embossing powders and the really cool mica flakes. So that is gonna be really pretty. So I'm gonna sprinkle my Caramel all over just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and heat set. So I am going to heat half of it first. I'm gonna start in the middle, work my way up, and then let that cool for a sec and then turn it around. You can use a nice little tweezer tool if you want to hold that in place, but I'm just gonna do my trick to avoid my fingers being burnt, which is just aiming the gun away from me. Okay, once you have your layer number 1 down, you wanna let that cool for a couple of seconds. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take my little mat again. This is just a piece of cardstock and my embossing ink. And I'm gonna give it 3 pounces again, just to make sure it's fully covered. Take my caramel embossing powder again and do layer number 2. Sprinkle, tap off your excess, and repeat. There you go. Now I have found that 2 layers should do the trick. If you want to do a third, if you've got a lot of little holes in there, you can go ahead and do a third, but test it out. I'm gonna stick with 2 because we are gonna be stamping on top of it, and I don't want it to be too heavy where it sinks in. So I am now going to take my background paper here that we just created, and you are going to use your static free bag. Now this is a must when you're layering. So I know most of you have these. It's not included in your kit, but if you don't have one, you might want to add it. And now from your stamp set, I am going to be using the You Are a Perfectly Wonderful Friend. This has 3 really great sayings, so whatever fits best for you, you get the stamp set included in your kit, so that's fantastic. And this is the Sketched Pear stamp set number 905, designed by our wonderful artist, Beverly Cole. Beautiful stuff on our site from Beverly Cole, so make sure you check that out. And I'm gonna go ahead and I lined it up on my block here. I'm gonna take my embossing ink, dip right in there. And now you can do it to one side. You can do it in the center. I went ahead and centered mine the first time, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. Without getting my head in the video, I might have. You'll just never know. Okay, so I went straight down. You can also use your stamp platform, and you can magnetically adhere that and then stamp right down, which is a nice alternative too. I'm gonna use my white embossing powder. White embossing powder also does not come in the kit because it's a staple that most of you have. So I like to give you goodies that you don't already have, hopefully. Okay, take my white embossing powder, sprinkle that on, tap that off, and now look at that. Because I went over it with my static free bag, I don't have little specks of white stuck all over the place, which is really nice. Now I'm gonna go ahead and heat set, but don't overcook it. Just give it a light run of heat. You're gonna see it melt right away because it has that base of embossing powder. So you don't wanna overcook it because then it will start to bleed, kind of run into the rest of it. So there we go. Did I get it all? I did. So there you've got your words, and that is a really fun technique. So now you can play around with all your embossing powders and create really cool, shiny, glossy backgrounds. This is using the caramel from our Cosmic collection. So as you can see from the Cosmic collection, it creates that really beautiful shimmer. So check out more of the Cosmic embossing powders. So next what we are going to do is we are going to add some of our mica flakes, and we are going to add some of our super thick clear. So I'm simply going to take my craft spoon here, and I am just going to hold this up on one side, and I'll just do the same that I did before, like kind of around the top, do a little down there. Set that down. Now I just sprinkled that on dry. So all you're gonna do is take your heat gun and heat from underneath. And once it starts to heat, you can just come over and finish up the heating from underneath. So there's half of it, and then I'm going to do this half as well. So once again, I'm going to take my craft spoon, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little there, and a little here. And you can just keep layering if you want to do more. You can also take a dry brush and wipe it off if you poured a little bit too much and you just want that splatter effect. So before you heat it, you can just go ahead and wipe that off. All right, so that is gonna do it for me for this super thick white effect. Now I'm gonna set this aside. And now we are going to take our mica flakes. So I'm gonna grab my mica flakes. I'm gonna sprinkle a little out here so you guys can see how these come. So they come in these nice big, kind of looking like fish scale chunks. So you can crumble them with your fingers. You can place the large pieces on. You can do a little combination of both, which is what I tend to do because they're so beautiful. And I'm just gonna add a few. And I even like them to be overlapping and coming off of the edge a little bit so they're not perfect. Chances are they're all gonna blow away when I heat them. Remember, once again, you're gonna heat from the bottom. I told you they were gonna blow away. You knew that was coming. And I'm gonna add a little bit more down here. Now you saw some fly away. So these are like layered. There's usually like 4 or 5 layers in each one. So when I put one down, just the bottom one sticks and the top one blows away. So see what I'm talking about? All these different layers in here. So when I sprinkle one, what you don't realize is just that bottom one is adhering and the rest are all blowing away. Now make sure you don't get any over your words, because if you have a big chunk over one of your letters, it's gonna be pretty difficult for your receiver of your card to read. Like right here, I got one right on my U, and it might be too late. Okay, we're ignoring that. Don't stick your finger in your wet embossing powder. Okay, there we go. Now I've got my cool mica flakes all over. And once that's really cool, you could take your dry brush and make sure you don't have any more flakes that are just sitting on top like this one here. But I want that to cool down first. So I'm gonna set that aside, and you can do something like this in a shoebox where they're all contained so you don't get the blowing away of your mica flakes all over the place. I know that makes some of you panic a little bit. A little too mixed media. I get it, it's quite all right. Okay, so now that our saying is done, we are gonna work on our background with our pears. So to start, I am going to take this sheet here, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm gonna set that down again, and we are gonna go over the entire thing with our VersaMark. And again, we are gonna do 2 layers. So I'm gonna speed it up. I'm gonna speed up the whole thing so you're not watching me do this throughout the whole video. So basically I'm repeating exactly what we did with the caramel. And I'm doing a solid layer of the VersaMark, followed by a solid layer of the embossing powder, Chartreuse, and then we are gonna repeat. So we are gonna do that twice. And if you have any questions below on embossing and you're new to this, please comment below and I will happily answer all of those. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna fast forward everything so you don't have to watch that all being done again. So sprinkle on my Chartreuse, and we're splitting the paper in half again, just like with the smaller one. Okay, here is 2 layers of our Chartreuse. It is just beautiful. Because of the colors inside of this embossing powder, you kind of get this very organic look, like it's not a solid color like the caramel was. It's a very, like a natural finish, but yet this is all one solid piece. A really cool effect. All right, we are going to put away our Chartreuse. And as you notice too, I sped it up, but I put the Chartreuse away between layers. I put it back in the jar and then poured it back on. And then that was just enough time to let my paper cool down. So keep that in mind. All right, so next what we are going to do is I'm going to show you a little trick on placement, on where we are going to be placing our pear. So what I'm going to do, because it's going to be covered up, you don't need to do the swipey, swipey, swipey. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my seine off and I'm going to stick my pear on. And this is simply going to be used for a guide as to where my pear's going, because I'm going to be adding a little background of the super thick clear. You'll see what I'm saying. All right, so I'm going to ink up my pear stamp. And I'm going to go in this bottom corner right here. Sorry, I banged the camera. Right there. And now I am going to add I'm going to do my super thick white, because what we are going to do after that is sprinkle some super thick white all around the edges. And I want it to do like a little splatter. Just like that. And then I'm going to heat from the bottom. Awesome, and that is where our pear is going to sit. You can already see how cool that is. Just think of the endless possibilities you can use with your super thick embossing powder. And we have this in black, silver, clear, red. So a lot of great things to do with your mixed media look. Now I'm going to do just a little bit more of a splattery background, just for a fun look, and heat set. Now you can always do more, but you can't do less. So if you wanted to do a light sprinkle, Now if I wanted to just add a little bit more up top here. Now see how I'm kind of holding it away? If you hold it really close, you're gonna get more of a pour. So if you hold it up higher, you're gonna get more of a natural splatter. So keep that in mind. There we go. Now I've got a really cool background. I absolutely love it. I cannot wait for you guys to get your hands on this and try it out yourself. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, you can check out all of our other super thick embossing powders and really mix and match, which is great. Okay, now we're gonna go back and add a couple more of our mica flakes. And I just wanted some distributed in the background. Just like that. And then we're gonna heat from the bottom. And now that big chunk, well, it might have jumped into a dry spot. There we go. Okay, now we have the completed background. Next, we are gonna get to work on our pear. So all of our digital stamp sets, which I know you've heard me over and over again talk about our digital stamp sets and how cool they are. All of our digital, all of our rubber stamps also come in Digi form. And the great thing is we also have the cut files. So when you order your Digi stamp set, you also receive the cut files, which is pretty fantastic. So in your kit, you're gonna be receiving 5 of your pairs pre-cut and colored and ready to go. So you get to work on all the fun stuff like the layering and the embossing, and you don't have to work on the coloring. But this is such a fun stamp set, and I'm gonna show you a couple of other things that our designers did with them. I have a few samples, but I'll show those to you in the end. And if I forget, which I normally do, I will show you for our stamp release. Make sure you guys check that out, one of our videos. Okay, so I'm inking up the front of our beautiful Digi cut pear. And now this time I'm gonna use my little holder because I am going to be going over my entire pear. I guess it helps if I open up the jar. We are also using the super thick clear. So we are going to be doing 2 layers of this. So cover up your super thick clear, relocate your pear. There we go. Clip in and heat set from the bottom. All right, the reason we're heat setting from the bottom is because our super thick embossing powders, even if you adhere them down first with your VersaMark, some of them tend to splatter away. So it's just a good rule of thumb to go underneath with all of your chunkier embossing powders. Okay, so now we are gonna do layer number 2. So right now it's a little bubbly looking. Let me see if I can show you. See right there? See when I hit the light right there? It's a little bubbly, like there's definitely places that need some more. So we're gonna go do layer number 2. You can also do layer number 3. You can really build up if you want. Once again, this is a Digi stamp, so it's really great to show how versatile the Digi stamps are. And you can still have fun with embossing powders with the digital stamp. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and heat set. I'm gonna stick my tool back on here just to save my fingers and heat from underneath. Okay, just go over the top, make sure everything is nice and melted. Let that cool for a second. And now look at that, when that light hits that, you've pretty much got a solid gloss finish. It looks like solid enamel. It's just so gorgeous. Now, if you wanted a varnished antique look, you could do a 3rd layer of the clear, go throw that in the freezer and crack it up. Then take one of your brown inks, smear it over, burnish it out, and you've got a nice vintage look. So that's also something really fun to do with your super thick clear. Now I wish I had my ink next to me and I could show you guys, but no. All right. Okay, next what we are gonna do is we are gonna keep our clear out. I need that back. I hope you didn't have to see my sweaty face just there. I'm so sorry. Okay, so we're gonna take this guy and don't feel like you can't uncurl your paper. It's quite all right because we will be melting this again. So I am just straightening that out. There we go. And now I have at least a nice flat piece of paper. So what I'm gonna do now is I am going to take my pear, I'm gonna heat this up, and I'm gonna stick my pear in it. Whoopsie. There we go. We'll just warm that up a little bit more. Perfect. All right, and now what I'm gonna do to finish that off, I touched it with some of my mica flakes, but I think that looks kind of cool, is I'm gonna take my clear embossing powder and I am going to go all around with the clear, and it is going to really seal that in to my cardstock and create a really cool look with the white embossing powder, like more of like a marble look. You need to just stick that back on. So if yours comes apart, you can do the same thing. Just use the tweezers or your scissors and stick that back together. I'm going to take my tweezer tool. You can also, just to help it out, take a little double stick tape and tape it down to begin with. But I'm showing you how I made my sample, which was basically by gluing it in there. Okay, we are nice and adhered to our cardstock. Isn't that look incredible? I hope you love the way yours turns out. It's a really fun mixed media finish. You've got the like really cool background around the pear. And now we are gonna go ahead and put everything together. And we are going to be using our cardstock base. All right, sorry about that. So I'm gonna take my card and I simply took my 3/4 inch and 3/4 inch across the top. And now I am going to peel off the backing. And I'm gonna take my 3/4 inch again, 2 strips, and we are gonna do the 2 sides. And to avoid cutting one side, go all the way to the edge. There we go. And then same on this side, all the way to the edge. And if you would rather do this on a piece of cardstock and then adhere the cardstock to your card front, you can do that too. Trim your remaining adhesive strips. And then this is how we are going to attach the background that we just created. I'm just gonna add one more little strip of Tear-ific tape in there, remove all of the backing. You can see all my little fingerprints from the mica flakes. Now, you could put this, you can center it like I did with my sample here, or you can be a little less perfect and you can trim your edges. And I think I'm gonna do that. I am going to make this one a little less perfect, just like that, just to show you a little difference. Make sure that's nice and adhered. You can manipulate your paper a little bit too. All right, and now we are gonna flip this over and trim the parts of my card, my background that are hanging over. You can also wait till you're totally done and trim off these pieces with a paper cutter. Okay, but there we have it. And now we are going to take our mica flakes again and do a lot of burnishing. So I've already got a mica flake. Coffee filter started. And I am just gonna sprinkle a few here, sprinkle a few here, and here, and here. And then what you're gonna wanna do is really burnish them in. And I am using my fingernail, because remember how we talked about in the beginning, they are layered. So therefore you wanna make sure you get all those layers off. So I am actually doing some scraping even. So at first you are rubbing it in and really making sure that you're distributing your mica flakes all over. And then you are going to be using your finger tool, your fingernail tool, to actually scrape any top layers that might be stuck. And look at how cool that background is. That's why I wanted to do more of a shifted one so you could see a good amount of the mica flake background. There we go. Really work that in. And I've got a little bit left down here, so I want to make sure that I'm not sending someone a card with a stuck to the inside of my envelope. That wouldn't be fun. And then this piece down here. Burnish that in. Scrape all those top layers off. All right, there we go. Tap, tap, tap. I'm going to be using my glitter resist brush. I'm just making sure everything is wiped off that is not adhered. I'm doing a circular motion. There we go. Okay, and there you have it. A really cool background created. Oh, I think I still have a little sticky piece, so we'll cover that up. Okay, so next I'm gonna take these guys and push that away. We're gonna clean up our little background, and we are going to do our last two parts, which are really fun. All right, there we go. So nice having the CraftMat. Okay, so now we have our awesome card. We have our background that we created earlier. I'm just going to uncurl that and stick that on. I'm going to use some of our foam adhesive on the back. Gonna do probably 5 of them to make sure it is nice and secured down. There we go. Remove the backing. I want my placement a little bit over my pear, right about there. And then we are going to stick on our awesome butterfly. Oy vey, there we go. So in this kit, you get these brand new 3D exclusive butterflies available at sparkleandsprinkle.net. You're gonna get a whole pack of them. All of these butterflies you see and more come in this kit. So not only do you have enough to finish and create your card that your 5 cards that we did today, but you're gonna have plenty left over, which is so fun. So they come with a little dimensional strip that you can use to adhere it, or you can use your Tear-ific tape. So I'm going to use a little strip of my 1/8 inch Tear-ific tape to adhere it. So I did a little extra because I just wanted to layer it up. So I'm going to simply just pull that over, cover that up, and now I'm going to stick on my butterfly. So I'm just going to simply go right there and adhere that down. And now they get a nice beautiful dimensional butterfly, as well as this gorgeous pear card. So make sure you check out this month's video kit club, which, you know, you just saw it all. Comment below. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you're not a video kit club member and you really like what you saw here today, go ahead and shoot us an email or give us a call or comment below, and we will help answer all of your questions on how to do that. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye. As promised, I just have a few samples to show you of what our amazing designers did with this stamp set as well. So I just wanted you to see some of the beautiful watercolor and some different ideas. Make sure you check out the Sparkle and Sprinkle blog. Gorgeous. And here is another one. Beautiful. And last but not least, you've got the gorgeous little orange pear and then the beautiful green pear. Love what our designers did. 3 different spins on an amazing stamp set. So thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.